All right, so back to this. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm no technical admin issues, surprisingly, but yeah, just back to this, I guess. I mean, we're on the sixth side story, the last one, and I know before in the previous part, um, what's it called? Yeah, in the previous part, I said that I would just do it in one go, and that it would be something to where like what would you call it? I would do it and then upload it, and that would be the only part for the day. But I'm actually thinking of kind of like how I did it with the first one and split that into two parts. I may end up doing that with this as well, simply because this is the one I'm interested in most. Side story sticks with Natsuki and Yuri. And I assume also since this is like the capstone side story, right, there will be more content as well. And again, the previous one already took an hour 20 to do both. To be fair, that was somewhat on me for extending it, but I think it's a safer bet for this to again split it into two, right? Like I did the first one. And then especially if I assume the second one, it's been kind of um what would you call it? The case that the second one has taken less time than the first one, or the second side story has taken less time than the first one. So that's something to where I think, yeah, if that is the case after the second one, I assume we'll get a lot of more secrets, right? Based off of that, completing not just that side story, but all of them. So we can look into that after that, right? But for this one, we can focus on again the side story for the first one, at least the side story at hand, and then when we finish it, if there's any like pictures or mail we get, right? So yeah, we can do that. And then but after that, that's this done, right? This shouldn't go on past say. I don't think there's going to be any like I don't think we'll get any like after completing this side story, I don't think we'll get anything new to the point of where it would be for another recording, right? Like I don't think we'll unlock like let's say more side stories. I think it'll just be more like mail pictures, files, right? Maybe something with the original DDLC. I don't know. But I think that's something to where it's like yeah, again, that's something where it's like we wouldn't get anything sufficiently new enough to where again, or we wouldn't get like a sufficient amount to where it would ultimately lead to a new recording, right? I don't think that would be the case. It won't be sufficiently enough in order to do that. So yeah, I don't know why I'm saying sufficient, but it's just I have a hard time because and you know this, right? Like if you're watching my videos, like I'll think of a word for like a very specific word, term, or phrase to describe something, and then I just won't, or I'll know it and then I'll think of it, right? And it'll be like right off the top of my head, but I can't actually like get out, right? It's not something that I can like yeah, I'm putting into words, I guess, but I guess yeah, sufficiently enough. I don't think there will be sufficient enough. Yeah, I think that's the term I was looking for. But again, besides that, right? Just get into this one again. I mentioned the reason I'm only doing one as opposed to two, A, because it's the last one of this and it doesn't make sense for me to start a whole nother recording. And B, I also have an exam today, which is also kind of why, because I originally planned on doing them in one, but now I'm like, yeah, now that's 12:34 p.m. Now it's getting kind of later in the day. I'm like, because I haven't started yet. To be fair, again, I don't need it done until 9, but it's like I'd rather do the half, get that done, and then come back and finish it, right? I just feel like that's a safer bet. And I split it up because I don't want to be, if this does take a while, like again, the last one took an hour 20. I don't want to be recording for like an hour 30 plus. I want it to be like short. So yeah, let's just do that and get into it, right? Feel like that's sufficient. And again, this is the one I've been looking forward to, right? This character interaction. So it's only been one day since Yuri's letter was delivered to Natsuki's Monka's help. And again, this is coming off of again sort of the breakdown of their relations, even though it was a Yuri Monica one, right? And that's what the CG was for. Again, this one is presumably focused on building that back up again. Since I said like the ways in which Yuri and Natsuki are different, right? Are the ways in which Yuri and Monica is similar, and Natsuki and Monica is similar. But the way in which Yuri and Natsuki are similar are the ways in which, again, they're different from Monica, right? So it's, or where Natsuki is different from Monica, right? And Yuri is different from, let's say, like Sayori, or like, actually, it'd go both ways. Both are different from Monica in that retrospect. But again, it's something to where it's like, like again, because deeper, like I talked about like the difference between like the surface level and then the deeper sort of issue, right? The surface level issue is the whole fucking like manga fantasy, like that crap. Like it literally doesn't matter. The deeper issue is about the ideal and visions for the club. And this is why that persists through Act One regarding Monica trying to get the festival when she kind of fails to realize that no one in the club really wants that, excluding maybe Sayori. So again, it's something to where it's like that's the deeper issue, but obviously that's not the issue being addressed. And again, that's the perfectionist, idealist mindset there, right? In terms of that, that's again the idealist visions, like integrity of the club. That's what that's related to, as opposed to more just personality, which would be surface level, like that just between Yuri and Natsuki, as opposed to again their sort of beliefs about the club, right? What should be compared to Monica's, which there it would be sufficiently different from, and that's where they would be the same. They would share that same. That's where they're similar. So, but again, besides that, right? Obviously, that's not the focus of this side story. It's about their fucking argument or whatever over the manga or horror that literally does not matter. It's just surface level. Because Yuri chose not to attend Club Meeting that day. She and Natsuki haven't faced each other since. But was Natsuki there though? Although it's only lunchtime, Yuri finds herself anxiously counting the hours until she'll need to face the outcome of her efforts, whether good or bad. I mean, because here's the thing, we know Natsuki, like she got over it pretty quickly, right? It seemed like the next day she was just like, geez, Yuri's actually taking this kind of, it's something to where again, right? Like she's very much short-term focused, right? While Yuri's long-term focused, right? So Yuri was more so like, obviously the argument, it was just a stupid argument. It's an argument where you don't even choose sides. Like Natsuki was asking, like, I think it was like, say, where do you choose sides? Like, that's not, no, this is like a dumb argument. You don't choose sides in a dumb argument, right? But again, that was something to where I was like, that was the case. But then obviously, right, like their argument, because again, she was also trying to make the point that somehow Yuri was looking down on her where she wasn't, which would be the case if it was just, let's say, Yuri below her, but it was like a mutual argument. So that only shows that she also be the same. And they even confirmed that both in their respective conversations with Sayori and Monica, right? But that's something to where, again, even though that's similar, right, obviously their outlook's different. Like Nazi's very much more short term, right? Again, like she just, like that's kind of the whole point. It's like the what would you call it, like insecurity coping defense mechanisms, right? To where again, like any like sort of like insult strewn her way or any sort of like joke strewn her way, she needs to respond to. She needs to like she needs to fucking like clap back at, right? It's like that's the case. But Yuri, again, it's instead the opposite issue to where she can't break out of her sharp comfort zone. And again, they both lead to the same issue of them being kind of like the brunt of the jokes, right? The social outcast. That's a better way to term. I said fucking like what was the term that I used earlier? Not fucking Jesus Christ. Now I can't even remember it. Not deplorable. I said like despicable, but that's like far too. I feel like the outcast like is social outcast, and like that's a good way to describe it. Like they are the expense at others for others, right? Like they are the brunt of the jokes. They are the outcast. So like again, Yuri's being because she's ignoring everything, right? Nasi's being because she's fucking responding to everything, right? You need to go down a middle path, right? Like if you are in that situation where like rather than because those both of those options or paths show that you care. You need to show that you don't care. So if someone really does make a joke, they say you're cute, and it's like, oh, thanks. You know, I'm a what's it called? I'm applying to be fucking. I don't know. I don't know. It's something where it's like you would say like, or it was like, for example, the Swine fan chick. She would be like, oh, I'm creating a second one. You guys want to be in it or something where it's like the fucking the literature or anime club. She's like, oh yeah, I was thinking of joining. You know, I'd probably be very popular due to all the greasy, sweaty nerds in there or something, right? Or like for the fucking cute, she could just say, "Oh yeah, I'm applying to be I'm going to a fucking pageant next week. Y'all want to come or something like that? I don't know, something to where it's like fucking which is like gotta attract all the pedos, right? Like for fucking because again, she's basically looks underage, but again, the thing being that right, like you like it like people just say ignore it. That's not the answer, like or people say like respond, like be confrontational about it, like upfront. That's also not the answer, right? Like those get you to Natsuki and Yuri's positions, right? Respectively, both. Because I do know people like this in real life, right? Again, there are most people are like combinations of like the characters, obviously, because these characters are just kind of literally designed to be this way. But you do see some people like I know a person like Monica in real life, right? I don't really know a Sayori, but I do know like a Monica, Yuri, and a Natsuki in real life. And it kind of is like you literally see it. It's like it's basically like a car, like carbon copy, right? To where basically they have the exact same like personality, character, like they're like of the exact same character, and they also have the exact same issues as a result. So, but yeah, besides that, right, I guess kind of what I'm bringing this all into is that, again, this kind of went off topic. Again, Yuri's more long-term thinking because of that, right? To where like she would definitely look at this more into like the future, right? And like this would impact her more as a result. Again, because her issue isn't her short-tempered hot-headedness, right? It's that she can't break out of her bubble or comfort zone, right? So that'd be something to where, again, the letter is the best she can do, but she's like still drained this versus Natsuki, who's kind of over it. But if, let's say, Yuri were to bring it up again, she would be exactly how she once was, despite the conversations she had. And because the passing by of students is making her feel even more anxious, Yuri picked out the most secluded spot she could find to spend her lunch. Let me guess, she finds Natsuki. And we're here. Because the staircase is under maintenance, no student would have any reason for coming here. I was wondering, like, I saw this and I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? What are they even doing? Bake sale, music club concert, soccer tryouts. We got the vending machine. What's in there? Nothing. I can't see. But yeah, let me guess, she finds Natsuki. What a surprise, or at least some member of the club. Such a relaxing feeling to have a moment of solitude in the middle of frantic school day. Too easy, right? And again, damn, it's almost like I'm a fucking, to be fair, it was painfully obvious that even if it wasn't Natsuki, she's gonna be someone. And again, because here's the thing, right? It's also interesting to note that Natsuki's not with her friends. And maybe she actually made that decision to like basically like not be with her quote unquote friends, right? Who aren't actually friends. Because again, I said even assuming a healthy friendship, like relationship with that friend group, right? You still wouldn't want to intermingle with like another friend group, right? But if it's unhealthy, right? Especially not. That was what Monica understood, but Sayori didn't. And again, that's something to where it's like based on Natsuki's conversation with Sayori, maybe she actually made the decision to not be with that group since we've seen them, at least with Monica and Sayori, right? That she's been with them pretty much every day for lunch. So it's surprising Natsuki would be here. And since she's also in the most secluded spot, right, we can draw that conclusion, or at least draw, that's a likely possibility. And it's also interesting again, because now that Natsuki's here, say Yuri's not mentally prepared, ready for this interaction. So she's kind of going to get put on the spot here, right? In terms of that. So again, that's something that's definitely very interesting. But here's the thing, presumably Natsuki has already read her letter. It would be different. Like I'd say different if Natsuki didn't, but again, presumably she did. I guess we'll just see here. What are you doing here? Your group's a book with enough force to wrinkle the pages beneath the pressure of her thumbs. Damn, she's got fucking like grit strength. Like she actually works out. Well, what are you doing? Damn, just answer the damn question. Like, because here's the thing, right? Both of you are someplace you shouldn't be. So this doesn't even matter. Like this is a pointless question. Like if you're like, here's the thing. Like, okay, Natsuki. Like, let's talk about Natsuki, right? So if she's in like imagine like if they're both someplace to where they shouldn't be, and then Natsuki says like, oh, what are you doing here? Like this is like basically going to be the response. Like even assuming Yuri actually gives a legit answer, it's always going to come. It's like neither of you are someplace you're supposed to be. So it's not like Natsuki someplace she should be, and then Yuri's showing up unannounced, and she's like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" It's like neither of you are in someplace you should be. I just came to get a drink from the vending machine. The one to our right, the other one's out of the drink I like. Damn, bitch, you got money? She fucking runs her dad's wallet. That's probably why she gets beat. You notice Natsuki fidgeting with a few coins between her fingers. Or maybe because we know Sayori scavenges, right, for the money. She nods, avoiding eye contact. But it's weird because I think it's something to where, like, in the canon, that's what Sayori does. Or, no, it was Natsuki. Because, again, we learned that in Act 2. Sayori was mooching off of the MC, right? But we know Natsuki, she's actually, so this is actually, that's why I was like, I'm like, how the hell did she get that? But no, she's actually the one who scavenges. But again, right, presumably, honestly, she could be completely lying about the fucking other vending machine. This could actually be, just what she found for this one. Natsuki also looking away, shuffles over to the vending machine. It's so quiet that every one of her movements seems to reverberate through the entire stairwell. Far along, she finally sees her beverage, which she then fidgets in place the coins. Some kind of iced tea. Damn, I couldn't fucking guess from just looking at this, right? But instead of leaving right away, Natsuki stands in place. She glances all around here. Because again, like, here's the thing, right? Now that you've met, like this conversation needs to happen now. You can't just push it off to a club. You're not just gonna be like, see you later, right? No, this, especially since Nansky's presumably read the letter. Like this conversation needs to happen now, right? It's not something that can wait. Like that's she's expecting. Like if you don't say anything, she may say something. It's like way too quiet back here. It's creepy. I mean, that's not what I meant. I mean, it's totally cool if that's your thing or whatever. Like I can see how it suits you. So not because I think you're creepy. And again, she's trying to like, rather than be like fucking roast her, like, because to be fair, she brought up the edgy comment, but it was Monica who fucking made Drew the parallel. But again, that's something where like she's trying out what she learned with Sayori, right? You know, I'm just going to stop talking. That seems like a good idea. It's okay. Everything is okay. Yuri finds herself attempting some words of comfort after Yuri and Natsuki stammer herself into dejection. Similar response, Natsuki approached the base of the staircase and hesitantly sits herself down to Yuri. Again, because this needs to happen now, right? It's not like you can just like have this and be like, I'll wait. I'll see you at the club, right? And then have it then. No, it's going to happen now. I can leave if you want. Yuri shakes her head. Natsuki twists the cap off her drinks and takes a sip. Damn, it's a fucking, is an iced tea, but it's with a fucking cap. Like I expected it to be, well, I guess all the drinks in this machine have a cap, or most of them. Damn, she not even eating this way. Well, I guess that's to be expected, but like you'd think she'd spend what few coins she gets on food. So receiving Yuri's general permission. Natsuki doesn't say anything more. Yuri continues to read her, at least pretends to. Like, damn, just fucking, oh, she was reading. All right, my bad. It's like, oh, bitch, we're kind of black. All right. And are we going to get because we need 2 more, or is it 3? I think it's 3 more CGs left, which is surprising, but the 2 just sit there for a long time. The tension seems to fade a little bit as time passes. Even without any words, it seems to at least mean something. No, it's not clear what that may be. Again, right? Like, you need to show that, you know, the tensions die down, right? Lunch ends more quickly than expected. Natsuki's first stand up with her empty drink bottle. Are you coming today? To the club? Yuri nods. I'm sorry for being so awkward. I'm really bad talking about this stuff. I just can't for some reason. I don't know why. But I want to eventually. There's no rush. I promise. Thanks. And again, so now the tension like has kind of died down between them, right? Dwell down. They're able to like literally just sit together and have a conversation. That's more than enough at this point. Okay, we're kind of black again. We're still here. It's okay, but what happened at the fucking club? Because they were supposed to go to the club. What happened at the club? Natsuki appears from around the corner, steps up to the vending machine, glancing at Yuri as she does so. Does this become a habit? Do they actually spend lunch together? Because again, this would be fucking perfect, actually, because we know Natsuki, like, her fucking friends treat her like dog shit, right? Like, quote unquote friends. But that's something where, and again, Yuri's just alone. But that's something where, again, and this would further, like, prove, again, their friendship, like, you know, their sort of relationship with each other, right? In terms of like, you know, they're actually like, they have differences in personality, but again, other than that, like, again, like Sayori said, they're similar in a lot of ways. So, and again, like I said, fucking New Eyes, and then also even True Route, if you get both of their good arcs, right, it even shows that. So like, you know, they like their relationships will definitely like one of the most interesting ones of the clubs, which is why I was so excited for this part. Hey, she seems to be holding some kind of book as well. Is it a manga or an actual book? Oh, you're here again. Well, I just came here to read this because they're okay. Damn, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy. It's what a fucking coincidence that you came here because there aren't any people around here, but you know that Yuri's here. Oh, I thought you didn't like how cool. Don't ask into it because you're just gonna get her to be even more fucking defensive, right? Well, I don't, but there's no people here. I see besides her. So Yuri isn't even Yuri would be like, oh, so I'm not even a person to you. The mood feels so much different today than it did yesterday. What happened at the club yesterday? We missed that. We didn't get that. After yesterday's lunch in the club meeting that followed, Natsuki and Yuri began to feel more relaxed around each other. Okay, so it was just like normal crap. After Yuri's, although Yuri's letter is still lingering in the back of Natsuki's mind, she continues to detour around it. Okay, so she did read. This confirms, right? But obviously she doesn't want to talk about it. She knows that Yuri feels sorry. So I guess, and she herself does as well. So that's something that they can kind of put that behind them. But now they actually need to work on developing a friendship, right? But it's okay that I'm here. Yeah, I don't care. Better than her fucking friends. I mostly just don't care about dealing with the crap I get from my friends about it. Again, right? Like, this is a much better alternative, right? Like, than just her getting fucking roasted by her friends, right? Especially since they also assume I stopped reading manga after I joined the literature club. They think like she's fucking high society, like posh now. Not that I'm trying to hide from that exactly, but I just don't want it to come up again now after I've waited so long for the new volume to come out. Literally months at this point. Yeah, so that's something where like they'll see her back into it and then like clown her for that. You know, of our friends who are into manga, not unless online friends count. They don't. and see her, but that's different because she's not exactly into it. She just likes it. You know what I mean? Yeah, online friends don't really count in this situation. I mean, at least not in school, right? If you're like at fucking home, like, okay, yeah, sure. But like you wouldn't be like doing that shit at school, right? And to be fair, like, cause this, I can, since I only plan on doing half a part now, I can take the time to like go into these, like delve down these conversation paths. Like you can do like, and this also not only applies to school, but like job as well, right? For school, you generally have two types of people, right? You have people who just do school for school, right? You know, they do what they gotta do at school, then they get home, and then they do whatever it is they do at home, right? And that's not saying, you know, that's not a bad thing. Like at home, like let's say fucking like, and it's not even implying that, let's say they're neats like the MC, right? Like let's say they're really into fucking what's it called? They're really into like athleticism, right? Like lifting. Because like at least I know most schools, like our school had a lifting club, but we had a fucking massive high school. Like obviously our school is sports, right? And it even like you can even cater to the running crowd in terms of like cross country and track, which is what I did. But there's no real like room for lifting, at least in terms of like granted, like we did lifting for wrestling, but that doesn't really count because that was as a means to an end. But if you just like the activity itself, right? And again, since I know, again, our school had one, but that's because our school was massive. But that's something where, like, if you go to, like, let's say a smaller school, and that isn't the case, right? But if that's something you're still really into, like, you can just do what you got to do at school, go home, or potentially just like go to a gym and do that, right? And if that's what you're really into, if you have a community around that, like you got lifting friends, or if you're just like an online community, then you do that, right? And then that's like, again, like that avoids the whole neat argument because it's literally fucking you're literally like actually like increasing your physical fitness, like your strength. So the exact opposite, presumably what that would be. But again, obviously there are other topics. So like you get like the MCs of the world who do that and then they just delve into their online fantasies or shows, right? And then they have communities centered around that, which also isn't bad so long as it doesn't take over your life. Like if you're still doing fine in school, right? And you're not basically, and if that's not all you do, so it's not like destroying your like what's it called? Like if it's starting to destroy your like eating, sleeping habits, okay, then that's probably an issue. But again, right, if you just do school for school, right, then you go home or go to wherever, right, outside of school, like even like let's say like, well, many schools have like chess clubs, but like if you do like some sort of like fucking like if you're more into like let's say a sort of like if you're more into like I guess competitive like games or like puzzles, that kind of stuff, right, there's still communities around those, so you can just do school, go to do whatever it is with that, right? And then again, you're still like having a part of that community. So it's something where like I just gave 3 examples in terms of lifting, like competitive gaming games or like puzzles, like even just like gaming, like online gaming can still be considered that, right? Like it like competitive online gaming or whatnot, right? Like so like I guess 3 examples, like lifting, gaming, and then fucking again like anime, manga, like on online communities centered around that type of stuff, right? Those are 3 examples of stuff to where of examples to where you could just people who are into those, right? Like they could just do school for school, right? You know, just do what they got to do at school and then get out, right? And then participate in those communities. Again, so long as they're doing fine in school, right? It's not destroying their eating sleeping habits, right? Because there are some lifters who like fucking like go like hard, like where it's literally like destroying their other habits. And it's like, there's 3 pillars to fucking health, right? You need good diet and sleep. So it's like, or at least good diet and sleep too, along with exercise in the form of lifting, if that's the case. But again, that's besides the point. That's something where like those are just 3 examples to where people would just go to school, do school, right? And then get out and participate in that. It's not something to where like, and then that's one camp. Another camp is people, and this would be more so people like myself, right? Where they go to school and then they're sort of like extracurriculars, like it would still be through the school. So like for me, the sports that I did, right? That would be a good example to where I'd go to school, do school, right? I'd even show up before school for practice, right? Or I guess that would be a whether it be lifting or running, do school, and then after school I'd have like actual practice for again like running or wrestling. That's something for like cross country, track, or wrestling, right? Like that'd be something to where yeah, that would be, and then I'd go home and then just chill, right? I wouldn't really do anything outside that. I'd pretty much just chill. Well, I guess I started recording spring. I started seriously recording spring semester senior year. But again, that's another camp of people, right? And it doesn't even necessarily need to be just sports, right? Like if people are in like just clubs, more general, like extracurricular stuff like that counts too. Like how I mentioned fucking like shoot, what is it? Like again, chess club. Like if people are more so involved in like that kind of stuff, or like let's just say NHS, like National Honor, like debate club, fucking good example, right? Like shit like that. That would still be again they're getting their extracurriculars like through school. So that's something where that's the second camp of people. You have one camp who just go school for school and then do whatever else they do right outside of school. Then you have the other camp who does their other stuff through school. And the similar thing applies to, again, like let's say like jobs, right? Work. Like you have people who basically work like let's say a 9 to 5 and then like live for the weekends, right? To where it's like I know some streamers who are like this, to where they do their 9 to 5 and then they basically, and it's like a Civ streamer. Like I'm not gonna name specifically, right? Because there's no point. But I know that they just do their 9 to 5, right? They work and then they basically just stream all the time outside of it, right? I guess that would technically count as something else. But again, that's something where they kind of live for that off time. Their fucking work just feeds that, right? It's like, and then in the end, you have another person who like they do their job, but then their job like funds some sort of other hobby, right? Not necessarily just chilling during the weekends, which I guess, again, I brought up a bad example for that. That would be a better example for this camp where they have their job and their job funds their sort of hobby outside that. For that would be streaming. But again, you have an art camp who just do their 9 to 5 and then basically just chill, right? They basically chill. They're enjoying life. It's like, hey, like you don't need to be fucking top of the world, right, to enjoy life, right? Like it's some of the like more simple things. Like let's say they have a family, right? They want to start a family, you know, have kids, right? Spend as much time as they can with them, right? And then just like ensure they go to like a good school. Granted, that probably require more than that, but it's something where it could. And if that's the case, right, then no need to do more than that, right? Like no need to like take like let's say that promotion and have to spend more time at work away from your family. So it's something like that, right? And then you have the third camp who find, again, this would kind of be like the second camp in the for school where they find that fulfillment through their job. This would be more like profession type stuff. So like, let's say like usually where you would require more education for. So like, let's say college, well, I guess it would be both fucking undergrad, grad, like bachelor's, master's, and then even like JD through like a PhD, or well, that would be fucking, that's just law, that specific example, because that's what I was thinking of for myself. But again, you also have like PhD stuff. So stuff like that, right? To where it's like more specialized, more like profession type stuff, where that's how you find, and even other stuff, like let's say like trades, good example into that as well, right? To where like that's what they do usually because they enjoy, because usually like the like people just say like trades are like the magic key to success, right? But that's something where it's kind of like the opposite of the 9 to 5, where it's like, yeah, you get like you make 6 figures or whatever, right? To where, yeah, you're making a lot of money right off the rip, but it's also a lot of time you're investing into that. Same thing with like fucking, yeah, like the trades work. And then also even like the, let's say like if you're working for like the Fed, right, the government, or like even if it's non-military, right, like military would be a good example of that profession type stuff, but even like non-military, right, work, like for like that would still fall into that same boat. But again, that's kind of being off topic. But the point being, right, you know, like Natsuki, like again, right, it'd be one thing if like, because if Natsuki just doesn't bring it up at all during school, right, like she can just not bring it up at all during school and then go home and then delve into that, right, and then indulge in that, right? Like that's one thing she can do. But again, she doesn't. She's trying to make friends. That's why she's in the literature club who have the same interests. Same reason with theory. She can just go home, read all she wants. But again, that's the reason. And that's why she's trying to get away from those friends. Because again, that's why she's pushing the manga in the club, because she wants to try and make friends who, again, have similar interests, right? Again, not like the fucking anime club where it's like fucking like, again, where the point isn't to just chill or hang out, where it's like probably actual structured like shit. I don't know. I've never been in one. But again, this is kind of how it's like, right? Anyway, I just went like honestly, you're lucky that the books you're into at least look like books. So you don't have to feel like everyone's constantly judging you by what you're reading. Well, I mean, here's the thing though. We know Natsuki judged her based on the size of her books. You can replace the K in that word with another letter, but like that's something to where like again you like she kind of was judgmental about that. But again, that's something to like if I see someone reading a thick book, like I judge them. Like I'm not even gonna lie. Like that's it's okay, I judge, to be fair though, I also judge people read manga. That's just kind of natural though. Like, but it's not more than like a simple thought. Like I brought this up with the fucking MC roasting Monica's house, right? I don't even like in fucking True Out. It's like that's not something where, yeah, you can be judgmental. You can be like, oh damn, that's a small house, I guess. But you wouldn't have it past put past one thought. Like if I saw someone read manga, I'd be like, oh damn, they're reading manga in public. I'd like consider that brave. I'd be like, oh damn, they're really doing it, especially if it's like some fucking weird ass shit. I'd do the same for people if they're reading a thick book. I'm like, damn, they're really reading that in public, like not at fucking home. Like they're like, aren't they worried something's gonna happen to them? But beyond that, I'm like not gonna think anything else, right? That would be so awful, especially since I already hate attention so much. Well, it's a good thing I have thick skin, I guess. I mean, literally the opposite, but okay, like literally. By the way, I'd totally recommend find some friends online if you haven't already. If you're like me and have no one to share hobbies with. That again, that's literally what I talked about earlier. Oh, I have online friends. Since middle school, actually, I was desperate back then. Yeah, especially desperate. And I mean, that's normal, right? Even now, I have online friends, I guess, quote unquote friends, but somewhat embarrassing to reminisce about those days. And again, she talks about middle school like Natsuki talks about home life. I think they're trying to draw because this was never brought up in the original DDLC, but I think they're trying to draw that parallel through again. Now in the side stories, they're trying to draw that parallel to try to make them seem even more similar, especially in this side story, drawing Yuri's experiences in middle school, presumably where she ended, how with which is how she ended up like this with Natsuki's home life experiences at home. I feel like to me from a few years ago would benefit from good smack across the face or whatever. We're all just stupid kids. And for me, it's weird because like I definitely don't feel nostalgia for middle school. Like middle school is just an awkward time. And middle school was one of the few times where I actually felt kind of normal because I was held back in what grade school and high school, even though I did athletics. I was held back in terms of academics. So that was the case in grade school, high school. I was one of those kids in grade school. But middle school was something to where like it wasn't the case. And I wasn't super into athletics. I still did some sports, but it wasn't like that was pretty much all I did outside school. So it's something to where it's like, again, right? Like that was, it's weird because I feel like zero nostalgia because it was, again, such an awkward time. It was one of the few times where I actually felt normal. So it's like conflicting feelings, I guess. So it's not like pure hate. There is some of the fanfics I wrote, I think I used a pseudonym. Fucking like what's it called? Pen name? Damn. Let me read the what was the smutty fan? But I liked it at the time. I got a lot of fulfillment out of it. I mean, it helped you if it helped you get through, right? And plus, I can look back and say with confidence, I've become a better person since then. So I don't think I would change anything. Wonder a few years from now. Well, I think same thing about our current selves. That's probably the case. I'll probably think about the same thing a few years from now. I think the same thing looking back at high school, right? I think like because funny, it's weird because I hadn't really gotten into recording until like spring semester senior year. So most of high school I haven't recorded. Throughout all of college I have, right? That's kind of the thing, or throughout all that schooling. It's just again during the breaks. But fucking high school, like barely. Like it was only really that spring semester onwards, right? Of senior year. So again, that's something to where it's like, yeah, it's like I definitely don't regret it. Like that's kind of the one aspect outside my life. And plus what I'm doing in college in terms of being is different. And then also again, dealing with some of the repercussions of being held back in high school. So that's something where again, I kind of think again, I feel the same exact way about myself then. So I can say, yeah, like that's like, and then even a few years from now, looking back, right? That's something to where it's like fucking I'll probably be thinking the same things. So again, since I won't be recording, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, it was honestly a waste of time. But again, I enjoyed it and I got some fulfillment out of it. So probably. That doesn't make you uncomfortable? No, of course not. I don't care what other people think of me, especially someone who doesn't even exist yet. Well, it's not even them making fun of you. It's more so you looking back on yourself, reminiscing, reflecting about that. All right, here. Natsu raises her hand to the face and forcefully slaps her own cheeks. What are you even doing? That's me from the future coming to terms with me right now. And also, I didn't mean to do it that hard. Damn. It's the age-old debate. If you fucking slap yourself and it hurts, are you strong or weak? We know in Natsuki's case it'd be because she's weak. You just seem to react. But then to Natsuki's surprise, Yuri shy looks their way for lifting her arm and doing the same thing to herself, lies smacking her cheek. Damn, like she actually fucking full force. Turns red, stares into her lap, but unable to hide smiles. So it was really funny joke. Like I can see like Natsuki doing it as a joke and just like joke slapping, and then Yuri just fucking like slaps herself like as hard as she can, like with as much force as possible. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. I didn't know you had in. I don't even know why I did that. It was her future self. Maybe I thought it'd be funny. It was her future self. Sorry, I keep distracting you. You said you're looking forward to reading, but I keep on going all about this nonsense. It's not about if you're reading with another person. It's not about the fucking reading, right? I'll let you get to your reading. Oh, right. It's like, damn, now I actually have to read. Yeah, I guess I'll do that then. Conversation is quickly. Natsuki opens her book. Damn, cut the black. Where are we now? The two read silently for a remainder of the lunch hour, but the whole time Yuri feels distracted by a twist of regret over having so abruptly forced the end. Because again, it's if she chose to like if you're reading with someone else, it's not about the reading, right? Because you could just read alone. Okay, why did the music stop? What day is it? You're back. Yeah, I'm here, lay low again. Wow, it's the next day. It's like, wow, what a coincidence. Another day has passed. During lunchtime, Natsuki finds herself having wandered to stairwell once more. It seems like it's becoming a habit. But again, what happened in the club yesterday, though? Hey, did you buy this? Natsuki quickly notices bottle of iced tea on the staircase where she normally sits. Yuri nods, avoiding eye contact. What for me? But you didn't know I was coming here today. What if I didn't show up? Then she'd fucking drink it. Okay, then she has a free iced tea to drink, right? Well, I would have drank it. It's like this because okay, Natsuki's an idiot for asking this question because then she just drinks it, right? That's like a logical conclusion, but it's literally a win-win scenario. It was a stupid thing to do. No, it wasn't stupid. I just thought, never mind. What I meant to say is thank you again because we know Natsuki, she scavenges for the money in order to afford these things. So that's a really nice gesture, I guess. It's okay if you don't feel that way. I do. It was it was the art things they didn't mean. I swear, please believe me. Yeah, and we know again, because Natsuki, like these things are rare to come by for her. Talking is hard. I get it wrong a lot too, so I believe you. Natsuki exhales in relief. She then sits down next to Yuri and takes the drink. Knowing Yuri, she's probably overthinking it so much that Natsuki's tepid response filled her self-doubt. I'll do something nice for you next time. Please don't feel obligated. Shut the fuck up. Let me do it. I want to do nice things too. Okay, again, like mutual. Like again, for me, it was the same thing. One of my roommates, they were actually a football player, so they had access to like all the fucking like good shit, right? Like, and this wasn't high school. This was college. So they're like, it was like actually like fucking like, so it was a pretty big deal. And one day they brought like this kind of personal, but yeah, they brought back food from their like cafeteria for me. Like they just had extras, whatever. So I ate it. It wasn't good, right? It was actually pretty crap, but like, again, it was like a good gesture, right? So the next day I bought fucking pizza from like or it was like not just a slice, but like a whole ass pizza from like fucking one of the college, like fucking like it wasn't even the diner or whatever, or the fucking dining hall. It was like from one of the like small like stores, whatever, that you can like spend like fucking though, like you have like the fucking meals, like whatever meal plan you have, right? Like it's something to where like, yeah, you spend it on that, like instead it's the alternative to a dining halls basically. And then like I got that, and again I brought it back, and then like again I offered him some because I wasn't going to eat an entire fucking pizza. So and then yeah, it's about the mutual fucking thing, right? But then we didn't talk after, so you can thank me after figure out how to do something nice. I'll do it then too. Natsuki sighs. Nothing. Just reminds me, I haven't been getting along with my friends lately. Again, well, she doesn't. To be fair, they're dog shit friends. Is that why you've been coming here? Well, no, not exactly. I haven't been avoiding them on purpose or anything. There are just other things I'd rather be doing during lunch lately. I like being around them. We're all just having fun, but they also can't just take anything seriously. So when I'm, I don't know, feeling serious, and their attitudes just really get on my nerves when they're still joking about her, basically. It always gotten worse since I joined the literature club. How come? Because they make fun of her. I don't know. I feel like I used to get really good at just putting up with it because it would be so stupid to cause drama over a joke that I didn't like or something. But I just have a hard time doing that lately. Well, it's my fault for being overly sensitive. I have a problem. I'm not going to demand for everyone around me to change. But here's the thing, right? Because that's the thing, right? Yeah, I know. Mom and Sarah really don't agree with that kind of thing, but they're not in my position. So it's easy for them to say they should just communicate. And to be fair, because again, like I said, these are the two social like rejects, right? Like these are the two fucking, what's it called? Deplorable, like, or degenerate was the term I used. Or that's like too extreme, but these are the people who are the brunt of the joke. These are the people who are the expenses for others, right? So Sayori and Monica aren't exactly in the same situation. Even Sayori, right? Grant, she's dealing with her own demons, right? The point of this game is basically everyone's got their issues, right? Like, but she's not dealing with this specific issue of being like basically again at these like this level of the totem pole, like the rungs, right? Like again, like I never had to deal with this issue. Like I was very much I was kind of like independent of it because like I just fucking did my I did like for me I just did schooling, right? And then I had my fucking athletics, but it wasn't like I was a fucking football player or basketball player, right? Or like even fucking like, let's say, baseball. So, well, I guess that wouldn't exactly count, but I wouldn't say like in like I did distance track. So let's say like a track sprinter or something like that. Like I wasn't like one of those like fucking A tier where it automatically gets me status, but it wasn't like I was still fucking a 3-sport athlete, right? Doing 3 difficult sports like cross country, wrestling, track. So especially like wrestling, that's something where like that's kind of an underrated, like a fucking like what would you call it? Like a sport that where a lot of people's like, yeah, I wouldn't do that. But again, it's to be fair, those I got cut from all the R sports, which is why I ended up doing those. Or well, I got cut from them in middle school, so I just didn't bother trying high school. But again, that's when I found those 3 and again stuck with them. But that's something where like I was still like, because I was like a 3-sport athlete and I was still like on that grind. I don't think like that was something where I wasn't like fucking popular. I wasn't like in this camp, right? I'd say I was very much probably like a Sayori in this situation. Not clearly popular, right? Complete opposite end of the totem pole from these two. But yeah, I'd say I was a very much Sayori, like in that regards. It's like my friend, damn, no space. My friend group does that kind of thing. I would just be making an embarrassment of myself. Sorry, I know if this has anything to do with you. I don't know what I'm talking about it. But again, we know Yuri's a good listener. I like listening. Again, we know that. What listening are people's problems? Yeah. It's like, yes. Haha, that's weird. It is what it is, right? Sorry. I just like learning about people. But here's the thing. That's a really good trait, being a good listener. Do you think it's weird? No, it's not weird. I'm probably just misunderstood. So I don't know. Does that mean I should keep going? If you'd like. Okay. Well, I don't know what to talk about now. What are some things you like about your friends? A lot of things. I mean, they're really fun to hang out with, like after school and on the weekends. And they really like my baking. It's fun to complain about school together. I mean, yeah, it's true. It's like, bitch, I fucking hate school. School sucks, right? Typing on the fucking keyboard, right? Online friends. Make me laugh a lot. We have good memories and inside jokes. Oh, I'm bad at a lot of those things. So, are all those things important to you? Well, kind of, but they're not things they need to get out of everyone. True, it's only a select few. Everyone in the club is really different from that, but I'm still friends with them too. Again, like it's not like friends of similar interests. Like literally these two fucking opposite, naturally like clashing personalities, right? Well, Sarah really likes your baking. She makes you laugh. She complains a lot. That doesn't mean she's anything like my other friends. It's true. One like them. She's a nice person who cares about your feelings. Excuse me? How about you don't talk the way about my friends you don't know anything about? And again, now this is the defense mechanism, the coping mechanism coming out because she's in denial about the current state of her friends, treating her like shit. Because again, if she were to admit that, then she wouldn't have friends, right? Because that's why like her friend, like she's still, again, it's like that desperate grasp. She can't be like Yuri in this situation, like abandoning her friends and then being alone is what, like, that's how she views. So again, it's like it's sort of like, again, a spiraling cycle, right? Natsuki stands up. No, wait, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I didn't want to say something bad. Please don't leave. Natsuki sighs, shakes her head. It's fine, as long as you understand that you can't judge people like that. Again, like let's ignore the whole like fact that Natsuki does literally the exact same thing. She fucking says, I don't talk about people behind her back. As soon as someone leaves the door, immediately talking about them. It's actually fucking hilarious, especially with Yuri. But this whole points to like sort of like settle the like beef between them, like squash the beef, right? You can't just compare friends like that and measure who's better than who. Everyone's different. I mean, yeah, you kind of can. Like if your friends are dog shit, I just don't like people who want to hurt you. Oh, it's not stress between them. Damn, they don't want to hurt me. We just like tease each other about stupid things. And we know though through Maka's POV that's not the case, right? Again, I don't like that. Well, that's why I'm friends with them and you're not. Okay, but that's not a flex. Like, you like it, just don't worry so much about me. But again, we know why Natsuki can't have that. So, and again, it may also relate to her fucking father, right? Like that could also be a fucking home situation, like sort of invading her life to where like depending on how, because again, the canon father, like we literally never see canon dad Suki, right? Like it's only through the mods that we see his portrayal. And again, that's why I bring up Summer Hope so much, because they had because most mods portray him as deadbeat incompetent, right? Summer Hope, complete opposite, right? Like he was the fucking doctor. I think, I don't even remember what his name was. Like he was a doctor. And again, the whole reason that he was doing this to Natsuki was because his wife had like died from like, it was like some sort of ailment or some sort of condition that like basically to where the solution would be doing exactly what he did to Natsuki, right? If it's like genetic, which I'm not even sure he knew. That's something that we're like, again, preventing her from fully developing, maturing, like sort of what would you call it? And if not, put that off completely, delay that. So that gives more insight into his motivations as opposed to just the common mod portrayal of him as a deadbeat or incompetent, right? A normal with you does a good job at the incompetent rod where he just basically doesn't do anything. And it's literally Natsuki taking care of him. Obviously behind closed doors. And then even fucking True Out, I'd say, portray him as fucking deadbeat, right? But obviously True Out has the whole like sort of union, right, between him and his wife, I guess. So that's kind of like a different story, like an evolution arc, which is actually rare in and of itself. But again, that's something where like this could be something where depending on canon, right, it could be making its way into her school life, right, to where like he's starting to become more like overbearing rather than just being a deadbeat or incompetent at home. He's being more overbearing in terms of her school life, right? So it's not worth it. I'm sorry. They're supposed to know how to help with social conflicts, like how Monica can. She's good at these things, and Sayori too. Not really. Also, yeah, she's like, I would say that's more so like a Sayori thing. Monica's not really good with that, but Sayori is. I don't always want help. Sometimes it's just stuff I feel with myself. That's why Monica and Sayori never seem to understand. And to be fair, Sayori is this problem too, because they're both because originally I was drawing the sort of distinction between Monica being a idealist and Sayori being a realist, who sort of brings her back down. And that is true. But again, I keep mentioning Sayori is this sort of idealism in her own sense to where like everyone can be happy when that's just simply not the case. Right. Like that's something and also Monica are idealism in terms of, again, like sort of, well, not only because again, in trying to maintain her perfect image appearance, like what she's sacrificing, right? Substance, right? Again, like she doesn't know who she's dealing with. She doesn't even know the others in the club. As club leader, that creates issues. And again, especially her trying to solve all the issues out of trying to be that perfect person, realizing she just simply can't. And then Sayori trying to solve out those issues, trying to make everyone happy when she just simply can't. That's how they're idealistic in that sense. Again, Sayori is more of a realist in terms of thinking in terms of like happiness and people enjoying themselves rather than some vague idea of fucking like what the club's supposed to stand for. But she's still idealistic in that sense. Sometimes all you do is look at them wrong and they're like, oh, what's wrong? Is everything okay? Yeah, like these two would know. They would know. I just want to mind my own business sometimes. And I tell myself I want to talk about things. And this is the situation where Yuri and Natsuki are similar to where again, where Yuri and Natsuki are similar, they're different from Monica and Sayori. To where they're different, Yuri's more similar to Monica and Natsuki's more similar to Sayori. Personality versus like attitudes. The only one who understands that is you. So you really shouldn't be hard on yourself. You're not as bad as you think. Again, that shows, again, they're similar here. Oh, you don't need to reassure me of everything. And that's what Sayori told Yuri. I mean that. Plus, it makes sense. Someone who doesn't talk well, make a good listener. I mean, that's a good trait. One of the best. You're also nice. It's really hard for me. It doesn't come naturally at all. It's so weird because I always saw myself as someone who can just say whatever's on my mind. But I feel like that only works when I'm annoyed, upset, or I want to say something. Why am I like that? You don't have to answer that. I'm just talking to myself. Yeah, like please don't answer that. It's like because you're a fucking I don't know. Nazi notices or fidgeting with the pages of a book. How come you like reading so much? Oh, well, a lot of reasons. But I just get sucked into it so easily, so immersive. Like I want to be a part of it. Again, get out of this world, right? Again, it takes you to a different world. Like it's sort of, it's part of getting away from this reality, right? I think there are a lot of things about people in real life that make me feel uncomfortable and frustrated, especially when it comes to following social conventions and group interactions. I just don't really understand it. I have no real desire to participate, but it's different with books. I always feel like I want to be around the characters. I feel such a strong emotional connection with them in ways they never felt for real people. So in that way, it can sometimes feel more real than real life. Really? Is that hard for you to be around people like all the time? Or at least people who aren't like fucking similar to her? Because the club, different story, right? But now at least it's like fucking, at least in this case scenario, fairly often, especially in group settings, when people are making all kinds of conversation. Hold on, let me check something real quick. I'm being paranoid about the fucking exam. Because again, like it's open from 9 to 9, but now I'm just realizing, oh shit, what if it's not fucking 9 to 9? Okay, no, it is. Good. Because for whatever reason, I thought like, okay, what if it's actually just, well, I guess I wouldn't miss it anyway, but oh, that doesn't get lonely. I don't think so. Well, I mean, you have your online friends. I still enjoy spending time with people one-on-one, and I have online, again, that's true. Like, I think people try to fucking, what's it called? Do you ever wish you could be friends with the characters in their books? Okay, Natsuki is like, because here's the thing, we know Natsuki was the one who was bringing on the whole shipping thing. And it's one thing to ship two fictional characters, but shipping yourself with someone, that's another fucking deal, right? And that's what she was fucking negging Sayori on about, right? It's like, that's not normal. But again, it's something to where it's like, it's a similar situation, I guess, regarding that. But that's something where, like, again, like, I feel like people downplay the value of like online friends, being a part of some sort of online community. And I didn't really notice that, right? Because I wouldn't say I was really involved with an online community until like, I'd say like about last year. Like, again, because in high school, as I mentioned, I basically had school athletics and they chilled outside. I only started recording spring semester senior year when I was basically done with everything, right? And then again, I didn't really get involved with an online community, funny enough, until the start of COVID, I'd say. Like, yeah, it wasn't really, well, not, I wouldn't say the start, but like a few months after, funny enough. And like, that's something that even like now, like that a lot of the restrictions have been lifted. Like, that's something I'm still involved with. I still think it, like, granted, not being fully invested to where you don't have any sort of like real life stuff, or at least you're not doing to where it's like starting to take over your real life, right? Like sort of starting to creep into your sleep, creep into your eating habits, creep into school. But again, that's something to where like, even if that's all you do outside of it, as long as it doesn't intrude with what you actually need to do, I'd say it's still relatively healthy all the time. Sometimes so badly that it makes my heart ache. Yeah, me too. And again, we know that's with the whole shipping thing. Really? A lot. Because again, she was talking about her ideal self, right? In the form of the whatever fucking manga character it was, right? Or was that Sayori? Or no, that was actually Monica. But presumably Natsuki feels the same way. Natsuki Mars, that silence feels sterile once more, but it's a mutual silence, one full of understanding. Damn, we cut in the black. Okay, we're back here. Damn, we got fucking nothing out of that. Jesus. But I guess I'm gonna end it here then. Or we already had all of these. We had all of these, right? But we still need 3 more pictures. So I don't know how we're gonna get the last pictures because we're on our literal last side story. So it's like, unless, you know, fucking we get a secret side story or something, right? I still want more sketches, right? Damn, imagine if this was how Natsuki looked. Honestly, though, like, I can see why they moved away from it, though, because she at least looks more older in, like, her current look, right? But again, right? And then a simple character initial design, right? Because the big thing they changed was the fucking eyes, right? Those became pink as well. And then they also, like, messed with her hair a bit, but... And then let's see some other, where was this was Sayori one, right? And again, same, so this is a better initial sketch for Sayori. And again, this one, like, they definitely, like, well, I guess we don't see the fucking colors of the eyes. Like, they made her bow more pronounced or whatnot, right? And they also extended her hair, so she looks less like a boy, right? Like, yeah, they definitely, like, in this, she didn't even have a fucking bow, right? So... And then where's fucking chat? Like, he actually looks somewhat like the chat MC. It's actually kind of fucking nice, but he literally just looks like any other character. So like anime character, right? It's actually kind of fucking funny, but. And then this is when they this is the fucking looks, well, yeah, this looks closer. Honestly, this is actually even more interesting because this must have been like some sort of inner rim design. This must be some sort of inner rim design because again, she doesn't have like any of her pigtails and stuff. Again, it's just her like basically hair. So that actually must be some sort of inner rim design. Yuri's obviously she's yeah, that was final. This fucking manga, that would have been so annoying to look at. Like, it's still annoying to look at the CGs like all being fucking like tilted, right? Like looking at these, it's like literally they're all tilted. Fucking tilted. Okay, this one's normal, but yeah, that's kind of annoying to look at. But again, I guess besides that, yeah, I don't really have anything else for this part, right? We'll finish the next part, you know, later today. So I'll get on that once I'm done with this exam. So yeah, again, besides that, got nothing left for this one. So yep. So for this one, see you in the next one.